on the last episode of Animation Nightmares.
Oh, it's awful. It's so bad. Then we have slavery. Just terrible. It's terrible. I'm ashamed of myself. I guess all I can really say is I'm sorry. I'm sorry I made this. And I'm sorry that I showed it publicly. Hello. Welcome back. It's the next day. Because yesterday my camera broke down and then the system didn't save the recording and then I broke down and then the neighbors started drilling into my walls, so I was just like, nope, I'm gonna play The Sims. And I'm back today to finish the animations that I made back then for Czequestria were animated on my phone because I didn't have my graphic tablet. So I just did everything on my phone, like the very first one from 2019. Back then I was animating everything on my phone, like all the animations for my old YouTube channel. So that was kind of a standard for me, and I was thinking that it was a huge flex that I can make this on my phone, and it's not a huge flex. After that, I did get my graphic tablet. I already had it for the second animation, but I didn't get to use it because James let me know like beginning of July, end of June, somewhere around that time. I was on holiday and he was like, "Can you do the animation for us again?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm on vacation. I don't have my stuff with me. I don't have a graphic tablet. I don't have PC. I just have my phone." And I was like, "Well, I have to start animating it now if I want to finish it by the Czequestria." So it was kind of rushed. It was like 2 months, and I just had to do it on my phone. And then when I got back home, I just edited it on my PC. But since I was pretty used to animating on my phone, I was like, yeah, it's not that bad. I can just deal with it. And it was also kind of like a nice vibe. Imagine you're just sitting at the beach, you know, just like sunbathing or like swimming around, and then you just go to sunbathe and you start drawing the animation, and then you just like go sit somewhere for a drink and you draw the animation. It was kind of nice, you know. For once, it felt pretty chill, although I was in a huge time rush. I know that for the second animation, the 2022 Sun versus Moon, I really wanted to do something in like anime style, because you hear the name Sun versus Moon and you just imagine the epic fight. I was like, I always wanted to do some fight animations, so I'll just try that. For once, there wasn't any pony else except like Libusha and then some like dark Libusha in the animation. And yeah, it was just like heavily anime inspired with the epic fight on the cliff, and it's just like the light versus the dark, and I just tried to make it really epic. So I think let's just get into it, shall we? That was loud. You see the first frame? It's so epic! It's so cool! I should stop trying to go for the epic side of things because they don't always end up as they seem. Anyway. Okay, really cool. I really like this part. If it was more shaded, it would be so cool. Like the sea part, I think I tried really hard, and although it's just a few frames, I think it gave me this sort of like anime feeling with the way that the lines aren't too clear and it's just like hitting the coast in a very low frame rate. Okay. Once again, I like it. I think it looks pretty cool. Maybe if it had like 3 more frames extra, it would be better, but Definitely better than the first animation, at least the start, you know? I feel like with this animation, I just put so much effort into the beginning to make it look really cool and epic and the setup. And then I had to cut off the end because I just didn't have enough time. So, okay, cool spear or whatever. Uh, by this time, yes, throughout the creator years, I had so many nicknames, and I always write the current one, and then it just seems kind of stupid because then it in the end it's just like, oh, somebody else made this. So the first one was like Pain Swirl, that's in the first animation. Now it's Stoned Aqua. I Stoned Aqua is like a Discord name that I got, and I just kind of liked it. But then I realized it was like taken on many social media, so I didn't get to use it, and now it's like Purple Corner. But when you look at the newest animation, the Czequestria 2024 animation, it still says like Stone Aqua because that was before I made the channel, before I decided that I was gonna record stuff. So I kind of forgot about that, submitted it that way, and I didn't care. I was like, should I write Paint Swirl? Should I write Stone Aqua? Because it just gets confusing. We get this cool setup. You get the epic cliff, you know. The shading is a little bit sad. I think I didn't have many ideas about like lighting a scene and everything. I still don't. I'm not a background artist. uh, I'm learning, okay? I'm constantly learning, and I think my next big challenge is to like make really cool environmental lighting because this one is just kind of meh, you know? Like you can kind of see what I was going for with the moon and the sun and the like in betweens, you know, like oh, it's both day and night, and then there's like the color transition like in the sunset or something. But then you can just see that on the ground there's just some sort of overlay, and over here it just blends really weird. It's like the floor is pinkish for no reason, and then on the water, on the sea, there are like some reflections for the moon and for the sun, but the color really doesn't blend in that well, I think. Like, I keep judging my work, but let's just be honest, it's still better than the first one. I think the first one didn't even know something like lighting exists or like shadows or what. Okay, so a little animation of the waves, and then this for some reason I thought would be cool. So it's like Libouche versus Dark Libouche, but instead of just writing that, it just kind of distort the writing. I don't know. I use like some weird word editor, or I don't even know what's it called anymore. Jesus. Okay. Um. Okay. So here's the original Libouche, like on the side of the sun. I don't remember how I did the shading and everything, but okay. You can see I'm trying. There are some pretty nice highlights because she's standing in the sun, and then like the blue shadows, which kind of makes sense, you know, the highlights are more yellowish while the shadows are kind of bluish. Um I think I tried, and I don't remember how I made this. I think I maybe used some kind of AI for the shading. That's what I remember because I was so out of time, and I was like, I want to make it epic. I want to do some shading. So I think maybe I used some like generation for parts, but then I did touch ups by hand, like the highlights and you know the hair. I don't know. Maybe it's too greenish, but it's okay. It's okay. It's fine. So we have the light Libusha, really cool, just standing there. Her hair is all the way. Oh my god! Sorry. I think my PC is legit dying. The programs are fucking me up like so hard. This video, I don't know what's going on. It's like universe is turning against me. I'm not gonna take the message. Bye. So, all wavy and stuff, really nice. I think I worked really hard for that hair. And here's the dark Libusha. She's just edgy version, you know. Her skin is like bluish instead of yellowish, with the hair also. It's kind of like spiky, then rather than like flowy and round. And her eyes are obviously red because that's just edgy as fuck. And she has like the vampire eyes, you know. She's just her cutie mark is basically the upside down cutie mark of actual Libusha, also color switch, so it's like negative. And yeah, her armor is a bit different. So we have the like light side, the dark side. We still are in the introduction part in the setup. But like really cool. Her hair is all wavy. Disregard all the weird bugs. It's not in the animation. It's the PC. And here, yeah, here is where you can see the AI generation of the shadows, because I just had the silhouette in one color, and then I put like the shadow effect, like the emboss or whatever, on top of it, and I just kind of set it up in a way that the light is coming from above. I think it's pretty fine. Like, it's not that bad, especially when you need to save time. One thing that I'm noticing now, not sure if I noticed it then, the the spears are separate entities, and they're also using the same like highlight shadow style, like, but the light Libusha is on the lighter side, so she's more like dark blue silhouette, while the dark one is in the dark, obviously, so she's using a black silhouette. But the spears are both black, so that's kind of weird. And just like, I like to make the magic spells like this because it was super easy, and you don't really have to do all the flowy motion in the like in the original series. Let's go. Okay, it's really epic. And now she's running at her, and she's running at her. Okay. There's so many thoughts. Ah, um, it's cool. Don't get me wrong. I think if you compare 2019 and 2022, you're like, what? That's the same person. I'm like that as well, and I made this. So for the My Little Pony fans, if you look at the scene, does it remind you of anything? Um, First season, it was like the first episode, but part two, where they're just having this epic, I don't know, runoff or whatever. They just run into each other, you know? And I got really inspired from that scene. And by really inspired, I mean I did it basically very much the same, because I didn't have the time to research the walk cycles like I did for my latest animation. So I just basically, I don't want to really say copied, because it's not exactly copied, but it's like heavily inspired, the way it's angled and everything. And even in the original series, the animation was still developing back in the first season, so it wasn't that perfect, but the angle was just what I needed, and that's what I used. And another thing that really bothers me in this part is the spear, which is so obviously, like, especially in the end, like, I try to make it like the 3D effect, where it's like going more towards you, you know, like the perspective warp. But instead of drawing it by hand, I was just like, okay, here's the spear, and I'll just transform it, make the ends a bit smaller, and that one looks really bad. I think that one, it's a static frame. I could have just drawn it at once, and it would be fun. But I think I was just seriously time pressed. But yeah, like I see what I was going for, but in this case, it didn't make sense. I like the action lines. It's like really it's like really anime. So I think I like it. The the shading I think is also done automatically on this part. It's also using some of the weird AI, but I think it works pretty well. I like the like faded double color background. It really like is the emotion, and it doesn't even need to be that complicated. I think that this is fine. This is fine. Uh, okay, we get the second part. She's also running with her transformed spear. I think did some copy pasting for both of these models because they're really similar. Just the hair is different, and just the armor and the spear is a little different. But the spear is like a completely separate entity in all these like scenes. So they're running at each other, and then they like fight, and it's just the small details. It's the small details that add so much, like the way their hair just kind of flows, and they're getting all flowy, and then she stopped. This scene is a static picture, moved in post production. I like that I can stop it, and it just looks like a static picture. But we play it, and it's an animation. Running. And then she's like doing all these dodges, and then she gets the scratch. The scratch was so bad. Oh my god. Oh. So you see, I was going for this kind of epic slow motion, and then we get to the scratch part. Where is it? Ah. So the scratch was there before she even got touched, and then it just ah. God damn it! So it's like touching. I was afraid it was the same thing, like with the. It's so broken. God damn it! So I was afraid it was gonna be the same thing like with the paintbrush where can it just stop? Please. Oh yeah, here is the paintbrush situation all over again. She's hardly touching the wound, but it's fine. She got a little scratchy. And I just made this like really cool one motion, and then I just copy pasted. She's just gonna be dodging that shit again with her spear. Like she's basically just protecting herself, not really attacking back, I guess. I don't know the fighting terms. I don't know anything about fighting. I just thought it would be cool to make an epic fighting scene, and that's what I did. I kind of. And then she gets slashed in a cool anime way, and she falls down from the freaking uh from the freaking cliff into the water. And oh no, look, her thingy, her thingy is all broken, and then this like epic look, and you can just see the silhouette where she's just standing there, but it's kind of poorly visible, but you can kind of see what I was going for. You can also see that the sun and the moon is getting closer, and the shadows are once again like AI generated, but you can see that the highlights are a little too much. But it's fine. She's just dead. She's falling. It's done. Oh, so you fall, and suddenly her eyes are shining, and there's a weird outline on them for no reason. And then she's falling, and suddenly she has wings in way too little frames. I think I was supposed to put more frames, but it's fine. And then she and then my PC glitches, and then she's falling into the water, and for some reason there's like no clouds or waves or anything, it's just a flat surface, and she's falling, and my PC is bugging. And then she just... I think I was running out of time. I think it needed definitely more frames and better execution, but I was so out of time. And I forgot this exists. Um, I think I found out the most like cursed frame ever. This is so cursed. What is this? I forgot this exists. It shouldn't exist. And then what? It's okay. Here you can kind of see the pony, but why is it just like 3 frames? That's so little. Like I had so much spare time to work on it. If I just duplicated the frame, but like, you know, when you just like do, it's not that visible. She's like doing a barrel roll or something. But let's go, let's go, let's go. When you're making animation, there's probably gonna be some really cursed stuff, but I don't remember using it in this one. I think I was in that experience to actually use it. I totally forgot that I actually did know some animation principles when I was making this, and this is awful. Like, I get it, but come on, me. I could have just made more frames and it would be so much better. Okay, I better keep going. So she's up, she's looking up. Oh no, what's going on? And she's epic, and she's like shooting because she doesn't have her spear. And then once again, you see I'm reusing like and It's just like I made one part and I reused it. And then her stuff gets shot away, and you can hear the very, to me, clear music cut because the music had like what, 4 or 5 minutes. I was like, oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna make 5 minute animation in like what, 2 months. So I had to cut it because I was so out of time. I was like, okay, we just have to get to the grand finale. And that's what really annoys me about this animation, that there's so much build up and it's gonna be so epic. And then the fight is literally so short, and then we get to the big part because like, oh god. So I just ran out of time. I put way too much time into the build up. I didn't think about the time I had at all, like anyway. So her spear gets thrown away, and then last minute she also saves herself, and then they have the really cool... You can see how terribly rushed this is. Number one, look at this font. Like, I'm gonna get to the ending after this, but I'm just staring at this font as a graphic designer. You can see literally all the, or like both of the words being cut off because bad editing, I guess. Like, the outline is so thick that the program is like not handling it too well, and it's all like cut up. Otherwise it would be pretty cool, you know, like the sun and the moon are hand drawn. Okay, that's fine. I like the lighting and stuff, but it got cut off. Anyway, let's get to the ending. Oh no, more back. All this shading you see, by the way, that's just like AI generated. I didn't shade anything. Maybe like the first scene, and that's it. because I was out of time and I was like, I want it to be cool, I want it to be epic, I want it to be visible, that they are like with the sun and the moon, and you can see like over here they're getting kind of closer, and she's like flying. And then when I just go next frame, it's like what, 3 frames of wings? Yeah, it's like 3 frames. No, 4. Okay. I think in the new animation I had like 6 or 8 frames, so double. But yeah, she's just flying and she shoots at her out of nowhere. And okay, epic shine, whatever. It's not that epic in the end. And then she also flies with way too much speed, and you kind of see that like when they just duel, and it's like the Star Wars and light against dark side and whatever, and then they always have the like the magic blast, and then the other one is like magic blast, and then they're like blasting into each other, and it's like the ball of energy is getting bigger until everything explodes. And that's what I was going for. And that's not what it looks like. Okay, she's flying. Go, little bird. Oh, that's so bad. I hate this part. The beams aren't even reaching. The middle should need so much more like saturation. And while all this is happening, you can see the moon and the sun getting closer to the middle. Like, the pacing is terrible. Honestly, with this one, I had a lot of fun. If I could get hands on some copyrighted music, oh, I mean non-copyrighted music or like some original music, I would probably do it again. Maybe with the same music, maybe with different. I think maybe I also just cut it because I was afraid of copyright. Like my last YouTube channel got taken down because of copyright strikes and similar, because apparently writing the creator into a description sometimes isn't enough for the stupid YouTube AI. So now I'm just like requesting a new outro song for this channel so it doesn't happen again, because like although the one I have now is like no copyright, for some reason YouTube is like, no, of course it is copyright. Anyway, sorry for the crazy rant about YouTube policies. I hate it. And I also hate this. What is this? I think the build up was so good. The beginning so good. And then after the whole falling down is just a downfall. Literally. Ever since she got stricken down, it's just a downfall with the quality. There's way too little frames, obviously, and the detail, the level of detail is like none. I'm just so sad because like the floor is so bare. There could be like in the beginning I had like these little cracks in the floor and some like patches of grass, and now there's nothing. It's just a brown blob, and then there's just the silhouettes, which I get was supposed to be really epic. Like, oh, their silhouettes and their eyes are shining, but the emboss effect, the highlight effect, it's just really bad. The shadows don't work like this, so I think. Would you like to see a new version of this? I kind of would. I think this has a lot of potential. I am getting really disappointed by the ending, and if we get it even a bit further, they're just flying. There's very little frames. As the sun and the moon get closer, there's just kind of this energy concentration, and then it just absorbs into itself. And then, where's the kaboom? Give me the kaboom! Kaboom! Kaboom. This is annoying because it's not like centered on the middle of the blast, and then it goes black. And then we have this one. What's that background? I feel terrible. And this is my confession that I'm sorry, but I literally stole like a few milliseconds. 1, 2, 3. I stole 3 frames from the original My Little Pony series. As much as it doesn't seem, My Little Pony, the original series, has actually so many epic fight scenes with like blasts and stuff, and I was out of time. I didn't have any time left. I needed to get editing right away. Czequestria is like starting in 2 days, you know? Like I had even less time to do any polishing or anything than I did with the latest one. Like thank God with the latest one that I started so early because I had so much prep time. I could do all the research that I needed. I could do all the last like details, the checkups, and that's what saved me. With this one, it was ridiculous because I just had 2 months, and that's like you start animating, you finish animating, you edit it, and that's it. You don't get any prep time. You don't get to prepare your assets. You don't get to do research on animation, certain parts. Well, the only research I had was for the sea because I was at the beach and I was watching the waves like do the little. So that was my only type of research, honestly. And also, I didn't really have time to think about the like time plan because for the animation that I did now, I actually did have like a quite clear time plan, which would be something in the sense of prepare assets, do the basic animations, um, do the backgrounds, then assemble the basic animations with the backgrounds, and then you can focus on the details, the other ponies, and everything. For this one, it was just like, well, you start in the beginning and then you finish in the end. But how long do you take on each part is questionable. So I spend way too much time on the build up, on the setup, and then the action part was really short and finish whatever I forgot the word. The finish was just like cut off, done, bye. That's why I don't like my early creations because you can clearly see I wasn't sure what I was doing. I didn't even put too much thought behind the core concept. Like with Czequestria animated animations, it's a bit tough because it's not technically a storytelling. It's more of a tribute. It's more like, oh, you got to the convention and now look all the epic things that can happen, or this is the theme. It's just showing the theme. It's not really like telling a story. I think the first animation, the 2019, was not even a tribute, not even a story. It was just like, oh, here's the lazy pharaoh. Get on a fucking cart and drive through the desert. And look, there's a pyramid. Boom, ancient times. It's just like, oh, look, this is the theme. That's it. There's like no thought behind it. And I thought I had something going on with adding the different ponies from the team when really I was just doing things like slavery and they were there for like no specific reason except I decided to. And for the second one, I think I worked a little bit harder to tell some kind of story. It's just like this epic anime fight. It's less of a story, more of like a scene where there's just this epic fight where you get this crazy setup like, oh, look, the water splashing at the bottom of the cliff, and then there are two ponies standing against each other. They're having a face off or whatever, and then they get into each other and they start fighting, you know. And then one gets scratched and she gets angry and then throws the other one off the cliff, and the other one is about to die, and the last minute she gets saved by her magical powers of the moon, and her eyes are shining, and she's like turning into a weird Sonic Hedgehog Super Ball. So it had a thinking going. I just ran out of time in the end. I was like, I have to finish it. I can't just have her die in the end. That would be so bad. So they both died. Fixed it. I'm happy to see the improvements in the animation. It was really bad back then. It's getting better, and I hope I still get better. I made so many mistakes back then, so I like to say you learn from your mistakes because I am improving by time. And it's crazy to look back at the videos and see how bad my ideas were back then when I was just a child, and I'm so naive, like, oh, I like animation. Hey, I'm gonna make it in animation. I think in conclusion, the more you make, the more you learn, the more you improve. So keep creating, keep making, and you'll be sure that one day you'll get better. I'll also get better. Like, I don't think you can ever be perfect. You can always improve. So it's a crazy journey, but at least it's fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you liked my previous creations, or at least my reactions to them, because I am embarrassed. I feel like this video shouldn't be put up. How embarrassed I literally am about all this, but you know, I'll do it anyway. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like and a comment if you have any other suggestions. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye!